In the last year, 1 in 8 teens report abusing an illicit drug. 46.6% of all teens in the US report that by grade 12, they have used illegal drugs at least once. Even though we have all these anti drug campaigns, teens continue to use and abuse drugs. Why? There's no one cause for drug use, but perhaps the biggest reason teens do drugs is because everyone else is doing them. Teens are more likely to engage in risky behaviors in a group than they are alone. In my survey to high school students in the area, 80% of respondents reported that they personally know someone their age who does drug recreationally. Peer pressure is extremely influential on teenagers because of the pressures to fit in. People sometimes feel obligated to do drugs if all their friends are doing them too. Substance abuse is also more common among teens with mental health disorders, especially depression. Data from 2021 shows that around 28% of people aged 12 to 17 in the US who experienced a major depressive episode within the last year also used an illicit drug within that time. In the last few years, mental health issues have been on the rise. So that means drug use has also gone up, right? Wrong. In 2021, drug use among teens actually decreased, even though the pandemic took major tolls on the mental health of teens. So maybe mental health isn't as big a factor in drug use than previously thought. In my survey, I asked respondents their reasons for doing drugs, and the most common response wasn't for mental health, it was curiosity. Let's face it, teens are curious, and it doesn't help that the media glamorizes drug use. Shows like Euphoria heavily exaggerate teen drug use, but sometimes they also show the dark side of drugs. So why don't people listen to that? Well, most of the time, they just don't care. Lots of people who do drugs recreationally think it's fun, and the negatives outweigh the positives. Unfortunately, the benefits are short lived, and long term drug use has serious consequences. But before we get into that, there's one more thing to discuss. The fastest growing drug problem in the United States isn't cocaine or heroin or methamphetamines, it's prescription drugs, and is profoundly affecting the lives of teenagers. More teens die from prescription drugs than heroin and cocaine combined. In 2017, 1 in 17 surveyed said that they had taken a prescription drug without a doctor's actual prescription. The main reason prescription drug abuse has been rapidly on the rise is because of its easy access. 60% of teens who abuse prescription drugs get them free from friends and relatives. Many teens take prescription drugs like Adderall and Ritalin to improve their performance at school, but data shows that this doesn't work for most people. A common misperception is that prescription drugs are safer or less harmful to your body than other kinds of drugs, but this is simply not true. Like all drug abuse, using prescription drugs for the wrong reasons has serious risks for a person's health. Adults who first use drugs at a younger age are more likely to be classified with illicit drug dependence or abuse than adults who initiated use at an older age. Any illicit drug use by adolescents can have immediate and long term health and social consequences. It can cause a variety of problems, including mood swings, insomnia, eating disorders, increased risk of disease, depression, withdrawal, and death. The death rate due to drug overdose among those aged 15 to 24 has rapidly increased in the last few years and are continuing to rise. So, what can we do about it? The best way to prevent drug abuse in teens is simply by educating them. 1 in 4 teenagers believe that prescription drugs can be used as a study aid, and nearly 1/3 of parents say that they believe that ADHD medication can improve a child's academic or testing performance, even if that child does not have ADHD. Parents, children, and even prescribers must be educated on the impact of all types of drugs on the developing brain. On a broader scale, the decriminalization of drugs can help people with drug problems and prevent the dangers of misuse. Because the truth is, people on drugs need help, not jail time. And constant preaching from anti drug campaigns isn't helping anyone. There's no way to completely stop people from doing drugs. We're all humans with free will, and some people will continue to do drugs even if they know the negative consequences. So maybe we should stop throwing people in jail for doing drugs and instead work towards making the drug market safer and invest in ways to actually help the people who need it.